Ohjelmayhteistyössä mukana.
I'm Matthias Worch. I'm the design director at Hangar 13. We're working on Mafia 3 right now. And I've been making games professionally for almost 20 years, so it's been quite a while. I moved from Germany and I went to America. So I'm at Hangar 13 now, which is this group of people who all gather together in California. We're in Novato, just a little bit north of San Francisco. And yeah, we're continuing the Mafia series, and we got people from the Czech Republic, from Germany, from Scandinavia, actually from America, of course. And we're really excited because we're almost done, coming out in October. So it's a continuation of the Mafia series. It's set in New Bordeaux, which is our version of New Orleans. It's in the wild 60s. It's this really interesting time in American history. You had the moon landing coming up in '69. You had JFK assassination, segregation, civil rights movement, really good music in a really interesting city, because New Orleans, like New Bordeaux, our version of it, is like, it's one of those American cities that everybody kind of knows, but hasn't really explored a lot. You play in Lincoln Clay, so you're an orphan, you're half black, you have to grow up in the deep south in America at that time frame, which has its own challenges. You've always been looking to belong somewhere, because as an orphan and as a half black guy, it's been kind of hard. Sign up for Vietnam and go to the Vietnam War. This was just when people didn't quite know yet how bad it was over there, so you just do your tour of duty there. You meet up with this guy called Donovan, he's a CIA operative. And as you come back to New Bordeaux, you fall back in with the Black Mob, which is pretty much your substitute family. As you're showing in this heist trailer that we showed today, something happens where as you're working with the Black Mob, with the Italian mob, the Black Mob is ultimately betrayed by this guy called Sal Marcano, and that sets up this revenge story where Lincoln survives. He decides to build his own Mafia family. One of the guys that you actually becomes part of your family is called Vito. He comes back from Mafia 2. And as you're taking everything slowly away from Marcano, out of the ashes of that empire, you're building your own crime family, and ultimately shaping the fate of New Bordeaux. I think the hard part is just the kind of decisions you have to make, right? You're looking at something like New Bordeaux, and it's such a diverse city. It has so many interesting, well, New Orleans, and then channeling it into New Bordeaux. New Orleans is so diverse and has so many interesting facets to it. So trying to distill all of that into our version of it, that might be the challenge, because you can never do everything. But all of the stuff you then get to put in there is really interesting and really fun. So what I really like about making games personally then is just that I get a lot of perspective. I actually get to learn what it was like in the 60s. I get to learn a lot of history. I get to shape the world in a way that hopefully everybody who plays the game in the end is going to have exactly that same kind of feeling, that same kind of background. But yeah, I mean, the challenges honestly are pretty small. Like, we're pretty blessed with what we get to do. And what's really fun then, of course, is once you have all of these kind of elements in there, so then just play the game and actually experience that. Because we have a pretty big team, seeing things come online, something you haven't seen before, like doing a car chase through a part of the city that you haven't seen before, like doing Hollywood action driving, which is one of it's our driving model inspired by the way that all of those action movies in the 60s work, for example, and it's just like sliding around a corner, like running away from the cops. All of that is really, really cool.
Ohjelmayhteistyössä mukana.